Justine, welcome to Bloodstock TV. I'm absolutely delighted to have you on, and especially with we're going to talk about Employed to Serve taking that stage at Bloodstock this coming August on the Ronnie James Dio stage, and a few more things about what you guys are up to right now and what you have plans for the rest of the summer, etc. So, first of all, I see you're sitting in a car. How are you? Are you just on your way somewhere? Or you finished work, or what's up?
Hey, how's it going? Thank you for having me. So yeah, we're just at the studio at the moment recording some songs. I'm in my little Polo. Super stoked to be playing Bloodstock. It's sorry if I'm already jumping the gun, but it's like, yeah, I've never played it before, so I'm very, very excited.
Yeah. Well, we'll get to that in a second. I wanted to start off with, I guess the the highlight of the year so far, even though it was straight into the start of the year, was, the Gojira dates, and now that the dust has settled with that, I just wanted to kind of ask you briefly to just reflect on that tour and overall, the overall experience, because you guys played in places that you hadn't necessarily played before.
As you'd imagine, honestly, it's such a dream tour for us to do. I've been a huge fan of Gojira for well over a decade at this point. So yeah, it was just such a an honor to sort of share the stage with them, especially at such a height in their career. I'm just really stoked to see a metal band that heavy, sell out arenas. It's wild and a rarity. So it was just really sick to see that many metal fans in a venue just for them. It was 2 months in total. We had two, and because of COVID, the tour split in half. So yeah, it was 2 months in total, and it was just really awesome, getting to know Alien Weaponry as well. And yeah, just sort of hitting all the sort of awesome spots in Europe. We'd never played places like Croatia before. So yeah, that was a real experience just to get to sort of see places we haven't been to before, and also play places like Poland that we haven't played in 7 or so years. So
the question is, did you notice from the reaction of being on the tour that, could you see stuff happening online and a lot more people kind of checking out your music and numbers rising?
Oh yeah, massively. As with probably most other band members, I'm glued to my Spotify artist thing. And it was pretty cool to see how, we sort of spike in places like Scandinavia after playing there. And it's just sort of nice to, just feel you're kind of gaining new fans and sort of reaching new people that you wouldn't have been able to had you not been on the tour. It was almost a festival sized crowd for every single show. So yeah, it was just wild. And yeah, the amount of shirts that we saw sort of dotted around afterwards, and all the lovely messages and things. Yeah, it was just really nice to kind of seeing people's reaction. This kind of tour was never on my bucket list because I didn't think it was achievable. Playing the Bercy Arena in Paris, there's very few bands that have ever done it, let alone British bands. So yeah, I feel very, very fortunate.
Okay, I wanted to just have a chat about the Conquering the album and the success of that album. And obviously, I was looking a couple of days ago. The deluxe version is now out on Spotify. With this album, were there any expectations of how good it would do? Were you nervous when you were putting it out, or did you expect it to do as well as it did, or were you just kind of okay, we'll just put it out there and see what happens?
Mainly the latter. With most records, I think we've always tried to avoid kind of getting expectations high or worrying too much about what people will think of it. Obviously, there's a bit of that when we're sort of picking things like singles. We're oh, this song might put people off because it's a bit different, and etc. But yeah, we didn't expect to for it to go as well as it did, and we were proper worried because it was basically another COVID album. Eternal Forward Motion came out in mid 2019, so then we only had 6 months of touring that before lockdown, and then we released Conquering in 2021 when things are still a bit weird with COVID. So it was kind of one of those things oh man, we've got 2 COVID albums basically, or at least 2 albums that were affected by COVID. So our expectations were pretty low. And yeah, it was just been amazing. It's been really nice that we felt it hadn't impacted it. And yeah, just being able to do a dream tour, really.
Okay, you mentioned there you're sitting in your car somewhere and you're recording, you were recording music or messing around with new ideas, and that was actually one of my questions. Updates on new music, and is there any kind of sneaky information that you can divulge to us about where you are with things, how many tracks, any titles, a possible release? Obviously, I know that you probably can talk about some stuff, but anything that you can give us would be great.
Yeah, so we're releasing, we're kind of hoping to release new songs at the end of the year. We're definitely gearing up to record a new album yeah, so like it's a new album's coming, but like not it won't be like this year. So yeah, we're just sort of working on it now, really, and just sort of keeping things ticking through. We've just been like really inspired, like coming off the back of that tour, and just sort of been really like excited again to like write new music, and because now we finally like, especially with the festival season we got coming up, including Bloodstock and like the headline tour we've got at the end of the year, we feel like we've kind of done conquering justice in the touring front now. So yeah, like I'm excited to sort of like looking for like a new sort of chapter, a new album to sort of work on. So yeah, we're like gonna keep on releasing new music. We've got like we're really happy with our lineup, and we just feel like a real strong unit after touring so much together.
And Justine, like with regards to just kind of the music that you're writing now, would you say that it's kind of a natural progression from conquering, or are you kind of really kind of pushing the boat out adventurously and kind of saying we're really trying new things?
Yeah, so a bit of both really. So we're sort of changing up how we're recording albums this time. So we're going to record like a few songs at a time so that we can like really like concentrate on making each song as like as best as it can be, essentially. Because like historically we've always just gone in for like almost a month, just sort of like kind of ground through. But yeah, like since kind of going in to do more singles recently, we've kind of really enjoyed the process of just doing one or two at a time. So we're going to sort of do that at the moment, and it's so far it's been really fun. So yeah, like to sort of caveat that, like we're kind of like gonna try and sort of like push the boat out a bit, but without like kind of losing the integrity of our sound.
Yeah, Bloodstock is looming. It's coming down the road so fast. Yeah, this is the first time. Have you played Bloodstock before? I don't think so. No.
Never.
Wow, coming straight in on the main
what a
stage.
debut. We got like Knocked Loose and Crowbar straight after as well. So that's, I think, is it Meshuggah on our stage? Our stage, sorry, on the stage. It's not our stage.
From kind of top down, it's Meshuggah, Triptychon, Celtic Frost. Holy shit! A bath, Are you thinking about, what you're going to do on that particular day? Is there going to be anything a little bit out of the ordinary from, say, some of the other shows that you've done on the Gojira tour? Will we hear some new music possibly that you guys are working on, maybe one or two new tracks? Or have you got any kind of anything special planned for that day?
Oh yeah, we're gonna try and like make a big song and dance out of it for sure. I'm already thinking about what I'm wearing.
All right, okay. Well, that's a good sign.
But yeah, I'm not too sure about these songs actually. We haven't thought about a set list, but there'll be some bangers hopefully.
You have attended Bloodstock as a punter. Was it the pandemic year? Was it the one after the pandemic? I think it was 2021.
How many have I been to?
I
went to one quite a few years back when Trivium headlined. I think back in 2012. I think that was my first one.
Right.
And then I went post-pandemic, like the first, because like Bloodstock was the first festival back. So that was I think it's my first proper festival. Bloodstock was the first full festival I went to post-pandemic.
So pinch yourself now for 1 second, or put yourself back there. Like, did you ever think when you were just standing there in the arena as a punter, looking at that stage, that you'd be on that stage a couple of years later? It must be kind of a sort of a surreal moment when you think about it.
Oh yeah. It's mad. Like, I'm really like excited and grateful. Like, it's just fun having that much space as well.
Yeah, to just run.
Absolutely. I'm a very clumsy person, so having extra space is good for me. Yeah, it's good. It's good for like my odds of not falling over. Now that I've said that, I'm going to stack it. But it's in theory, like percentage-wise, I'm doing good.
Yeah, very good. Okay, just a question for you about the kind of the current scene in the UK at the moment, which I think is in rude health. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. Just some bands that come to mind for me anyway. Pupil Slicer, Conjurer, Pest Control, amazing band, Wolf Bastard, Earn, Venom Prison, Video Nasty. I mean, there is just some amazing stuff coming up in the UK, as well as the bigger bands, Architects and Bring Me the Horizon and whatnot, that are making waves across America. Do you find that, do you see that the kind of scene around you? Obviously, you've loved this music practically all of your life, and now that you're kind of in the industry and you're aware of everything that's going on, do you feel that there's this wonderful kind of structure for heavy music in the UK now, that it's exciting, it's vibrant, and it's on the up?
Oh, absolutely. Like, I feel like from about 2017, I feel like the whole like structure of music has been more geared towards growing new young bands, like from festivals, like being more up for like booking like young talent. And yeah, I just feel like everyone's like hungry for like new bands and sort of like seeing them succeed into like, you know, bigger ones. Like a good example I feel like is Loathe and Sleep Token, who have just sort of like, you know, blown up recently. And you know, they've been working so hard for so many years. It's just really nice to see that like heavy bands are getting like, you know, massive attention again. Like it's a very promising sort of time to be in a band at the moment, especially a heavy one.
You guys at Sammy, you run Church Road Records, and you have done, am I right in saying since 2020? Is that when it kind of...
So basically it was like a distro from like 2017, but it became like a full-time venture from 2020. So yeah.
Yeah, fantastic. Like, do you find though that like working obviously within the industry as an artist, but also on this other side of the desk, let's call it, that you're getting a greater kind of understanding about the functionality of the entire business, you know? Has it opened your eyes into sort of different areas that you normally wouldn't have kind of known about or been oblivious to?
Yeah, massively. So interestingly, I sort of worked in like label capacities, like for like more or less from the inception of ETS. I think I was in a band for a little bit before, like maybe 2 years max. So I've been like working since like industry stuff since like, I don't know, since I finished uni basically. But yeah, like absolutely, like I feel it is probably easier for me as a band member, like handling things like press and just sort of knowing like things like, I don't know, like just weird things like where we can get funding from, like, you know, PRS do it and things like that. And just sort of knowing about a bit about publishing. Publishing still confuses me, but like anything like that is quite handy to sort of know as a band member as well. And because I've got the band member perspective, I try and filter that into sort of the bands on the label as well, because I just want to make sure they're sort of taking advantage of like, you know, as much money as they can kind of get, because obviously it's very scarce in the music industry at the moment. So yeah, it's quite a fun position to be in really, because I kind of I sort of see everything from both points of view, really. Yeah. Well,
listen, best of luck with that venture as well. I believe I was just checking out your website today, and there's some amazing stuff on it as well. So I urge people to please go and check out Church Road Records, as well as everything that the guys are doing. When someone says Bloodstock to you, as a punter, what's the first thing that comes into your head?
Well, as soon as I think Bloodstock, I think Battle Jacket collections.
Nice.
I have a thing, like any festival I go to, particularly Bloodstock, I try and like see how many different band patches everyone's got and see what the most popular one is. Trying to think what's fun. I just love, like, you got families with matching battle jackets, like drinking beers, like having just a very nice time. It's just a very unifying festival.
Yeah.
So I don't have anything fun, but like it's just a nice image of just like people just enjoying sick bands with beer.
I will let you get back to your band rehearsal, and I just want to thank you once again for taking the time to speak to us here, and we will see you on the Ronnie James Dio stage on Saturday the 12th of August at Bloodstock, and the stage times will be released fairly soon. So yeah, we're absolutely delighted to have you, and it's going to be awesome. So thank you.
Hell yeah, I can't wait. See you guys in the pit.
I am the one that you need. I am the one that you need. I am the one.